Welcome back to Bishland Farms, where I am attempting to complete the community center before the end of the first year. This video is part 2 of a multi-part series and covers the summer season of year 1. If you missed part 1, that video is linked in the description and in the corner here. A couple of reminders about this challenge. 1. While this is the first time I ever attempted the year 1 community center challenge, it is not my first playthrough. And 2. This playthrough takes place before the 1.6 update. Now let's get into it. After double checking on what crops I'll need for bundles, I till and fertilize my soil, keeping in mind that I'll have to water everything by hand since I don't have quality sprinklers yet. Clint, once again, has posted an impossible help wanted quest outside of Pierre's. I don't even bother claiming it before I head inside to pick up my seeds. In classic Liz fashion, I haven't counted the spaces I just finished tilling, so I sort of have to guess how many seeds to buy. I get hot peppers, tomatoes, melons, wheat, hops, sunflowers, poppy, blueberries, and corn. In addition to those, I also plant the starfruit seed that Gunther gave me. Unfortunately, I have severely underestimated how many spaces I have. Even after planting all of my mixed seeds, I end up having to go back to Pierre's for more wheat seeds. Which still doesn't end up being enough because I still didn't count the leftover spaces before going.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
At that point, Pierre is about to close, so I spend about an hour in-game hunting down more mixed seeds. Not the wisest use of my time. It's a little bit of a close call in getting everything watered by the end of the day, especially since I stopped to craft a bee house. The next morning, Gravy lays a large brown egg, which I take right to the community center for the animal bundle. While I'm there, I also donate a sweet pea to the summer foraging bundle. At the beach, I place down the crab pots the Junimo gave me before casting my line off the pier. I managed to catch a tuna for the ocean bundle, as well as a decent haul of other fish to sell. I stopped by the forest on the way home to scythe weeds for mixed seeds and fiber. On the third day of summer, Mayor Lewis sends me a weird letter about retrieving his underwear from an unspecified location.
Huh?
Well, anyway, my barn is ready and Marnie is actually freaking working today, so time for a cow. Oh, Mayor Lewis. Fancy seeing you here. Hi, Marnie. Oh. Well, I think I found the lucky purple shorts. Seriously, Lewis, you couldn't just go and grab them yourself? They're right there, man. I'm not good enough friends with Marnie to get in her room anyway, so I just buy a cow, which is promptly named Wellington. Then I head to the beach, where Willie tells me about a secret project that he'd like to work on if things pick up around here. I fish away the rest of the day, setting aside an iridium quality flounder with the Grange display in mind. On Summer 4, I score a couple of blackberries from the farm cave and head to Clint's to drop my axe off. I find a grape up by Robin's house, and the train station is also open, so I take the opportunity to refill my energy before heading into the mines. Unfortunately, I end up having to eat said grape during a bat swarm, and despite the apparent good luck day, I don't even manage to make it down 5 levels. On the 5th, I harvest my first batch of wheat. The traveling cart is a bust once again, so I just buy a few more melon seeds from Pierre. Then I head to the mines, where I finally reach level 65. And because I had to deal with 2 more bat swarms in the process, I hit level 4 combat. My hot peppers are ready the next day, and the fruit bats are really proving themselves because I find an apple in the cave as well as a spiceberry. Before heading to the mines again, I stop by the community center to donate the spiceberry to the summer forage bundle, a blackberry to the fall forage bundle, a hot pepper to the summer crops bundle, honey to the artisan bundle, a tuna to the ocean fish bundle, 10 wheat to the fodder bundle, and an oak resin to the exotic foraging bundle. Feels weird to give Maru a frozen tier for once, but she put a request for one on the bulletin board, and I'm still taking every opportunity to make money that I can. I don't make it very far down into the mines that day, but I still walk out with a few museum donations. On the 7th, I bring those to Gunther and pick up my copper axe from Clint. Then I go to the beach to catch a snapper, since those only come out in the rain. Seb walks by while I'm fishing, so I give him another frozen tier. All of that fishing gets me a tidy amount of cash and brings me to level 6 fishing. The next morning, my poppy is ready to harvest. Wellington has also reached maturity, but I haven't unlocked the cheese recipe yet, so I store the milk away for now. Now that I have my copper axe, I also take advantage of another perk of the forest farm. free hardwood that respawns daily. I also reclaim the grape I had to eat and find a peach and a wild plum in the cave. I spend the rest of the day chopping wood for building upgrades and hit level 5 foraging in the process. I end up going with the gatherer profession, although I do think that forester is an underrated profession. The next day my sunflowers are ready, so I pick one, but I leave the rest for sunflower honey. And yes, I know now that poppies are better for summer honey, but it's still better than wild honey. I take another trip to the community center, donating a peach to the artisan bundle, a grape, which completes the summer forage bundle, the wild plum to the fall foraging bundle, a red snapper to the ocean fish bundle, a sunflower to the dye bundle, and the poppy to the chef's bundle. I catch a ghost fish on level 60 of the mines before continuing my descent. I find a few pieces of aquamarine and make it down to level 75. By now I've scrounged enough gold ore from crates in the mines and fishing chests to smelt 1 bar overnight. A third batch of maple syrup is ready on summer 10. Mayor Lewis has sent me a letter about the luau, so I set aside a silver quality cauliflower in preparation. In the mines, I make it to level 80, earning myself a new pair of boots and finding another red mushroom and my first purple mushroom. Unfortunately, I end up having to eat the purple mushroom in an emergency, but I know it'll be easy enough to find another. That night, I hit level 6 farming, which means I can finally start processing milk into cheese and craft quality sprinklers. I also hit level 5 mining and choose geologist for my profession. My first batch of strawberry jam is done the next morning. I set aside 1 jar for the community center and throw the other in the shipping bin with much excitement. Since the luau is today, I can't get too much done, but I do take the chance to make a cheese press and start working through the backlog of milk. I also find 2 apricots in the bat cave. I place the cauliflower in the giant vat of soup, and somehow that magically makes the soup very pleasant, in the words of the governor. On the 12th, my tomato plant is ready for its first harvest. Still no luck at the traveling cart, but I have a ton of donos for the community center. I donate a red mushroom and some maple syrup to the exotic foraging bundle, which completes it. I forgot to mention I donated the cave carrot to that bundle in the spring. 10 hardwood to the construction bundle, cheese, jelly, and an apricot to the artisan bundle, a tomato to the summer crops bundle, a ghost fish to the specialty fish bundle, an aquamarine for the dye bundle, and a gold bar to complete the blacksmith bundle. Back home, I eat a serving of Autumn's Bounty for lunch and spend the rest of the day chopping wood. The melons are ready to harvest the next morning, and I get 6 gold star ones right off the bat. I set aside 5 for the community center and 1 for the Grange display. I set aside the regular quality melons and the first hops of the season to eventually process in kegs for wine and pale ale. Then I sell the silver star melons for a bit of instant cash. As if that wasn't enough, Wellington produces her first large milk that same morning. With my chores out of the way, I head up to Robbins to order the big barn upgrade. Then on the way into town, I stop by the community center to donate the large milk to the animal bundle, 5 gold melons to the quality crops bundle, and a large melon to the summer crops bundle. I stop by Clint's to crack open a few geodes and donate a few new minerals to the museum. At Pierre's, I buy another 15 melon seeds to replace what I harvested. Then it's back to the beach for more fishing. I do a bit of foraging and wood cutting on my way back home, which gets me to level 6 foraging. Day 14 is Blueberry Day. Hooray! Pam sends me a letter asking for pale ale. She'll have to wait because I can't even make cakes yet. I hold on to all of the regular quality blueberries and sell the silver and gold ones. The traveling cart disappoints once again, and the luck isn't good that day, so I just get to chopping wood for most of the day. Before the night is over, I also take the chance to fish in the large pond on my farm. Another benefit of the forest farm is that you can catch fish normally found in cindersap forest, and there's even a chance of catching a wood skip, which is usually exclusive to the secret woods. I just end up catching a pike and a bunch of trash this time around, but it's worth doing for CC completion. Before I head to bed, I also craft a recycling machine so I can start trying to get cloth by recycling soggy newspaper. The next morning, my first wave of corn is ready, and 3 of the ears I pick end up being gold star quality. I find a second apple in the bat cave, and my barn is done being upgraded. Unfortunately, Marnie doesn't work on Mondays, or Tuesdays, so I have to wait before I get a goat. I head into the mines instead, hoping to make some progress in the lower levels, but things get very hairy, or batty rather, on level 83. So rather than push my luck, I call it quits and visit Seb again. Back on the farm, I keep recycling newspapers and place down a few torches. The last soggy newspaper of the night produces a cloth. I get a visit from Emily the next day, who lets me know that I'm free to use her sewing machine, and it's another good luck day, so once my chores are done, I race back to the mines. I reclaim that purple mushroom I had to eat last week and make it all the way down to level 90, where I finally get my hands on the obsidian edge. With that significant upgrade in my hands, I push down further in search of fire quartz, but come up empty-handed. On summer 17, I make another run to the community center to donate a purple mushroom to the Enchanter's bundle, a blueberry to complete the summer crops bundle, cloth to complete the artisan bundle, and a common mushroom to the fall foraging bundle. Then I head to Marnie's to finally get a goat, which gets named Aguilar after a chat member who said, quote, "Me goat." After that, I try to go down to the beach with 200 wood to repair the bridge, only to find out that it actually requires 300 wood. I swear I make this mistake every damn playthrough. So rather than simply going back home to get the rest of the wood, I give up entirely and fish in my farm pond instead. While I'm fishing, I put some hops in the keg the Junimo gave me to make pale ale. After fishing all evening, I come away with a singular pike. Woohoo! More blueberries are done on summer 18, and despite the luck only being neutral, I head into the mines. On level 93, I find a diamond, and on floor 94, I finally find a fire quartz. Feeling very happy with my luck indeed, I keep on trucking and make it all the way down to level 100. There I get my first ever star drop, which of course tastes like... Anyway, with that out of the way, I make my way to the community center to donate the fire quartz, completing the geologist bundle and the boiler room as a whole. That night, the Junimo do their adorable little dance around the minecarts. After doing my chores and checking on the traveling cart the next morning, I use the newly fixed carts to get right back into the mines. Between the copper pickaxe and my new sword, I am cruising through the levels, making it down another 10 levels. I do unfortunately end up passing out on the way back home, but between the sick purple boots, the loot, and leveling up my farming, combat, and mining skills, it's totally worth it. I honestly am not sure which combat profession is better, so I sort of just randomly choose fighter. On summer 20, I drop my axe off at Clint's for another upgrade and make a few more donations to the museum. Then I stop by the river to give Seb another frozen tear before chasing down Pam so I can complete the pale ale request. On my way up the mountain, I run into Seb again. He shows me his motorcycle and talks about his desire to escape his current life. After a quick chat with Linus, I attempt to catch a sturgeon, but don't end up finding one before it goes away at 7. Still, I make a decent amount of gold that night. The next morning, I spend a bit of time considering my options. On the one hand, since pigs take quite a while to mature and won't dig up truffles in the winter, I want to have one by the first week of fall. On the other hand, I also want to have enough money to go all out on fall crops. While I'm stewing over it all, I pop down to the traveling merchant, where to my delight, I find a red cabbage seed for sale. I happily purchase it, and after some thought, I buy the pufferfish on offer as well. I figure it will save me having to upgrade my fishing rod for a little while longer. I stop by Pierre's to literally just look at the calendar and determine that as long as I have the barn ordered by the 8th of fall, I should be able to get a truffle before winter. While I'm there, I also accept a quest from Demetrius to slay some rock crabs. I'm headed to the mines anyway, where I get down to the very bottom and obtain the skull key. Back on the farm, I fish a wood skip out of the pond and spend the rest of the night planning out the crop layout for the next season. The next morning, my goat produces her first pail of milk. My axe is also ready, so I head to Clint's to pick it up and crack open a few geodes. After making more museum donations, I head home to grab my sword and make for the secret woods. There, I grab a fiddlehead fern for the community center and chop a bunch of hardwood. That reminds me that I still haven't repaired the bridge on the beach yet, so I grab some wood and go to rectify that situation. Of course, there isn't a single sea urchin there that day, but it's good to have it out of the way. The rest of the night is spent replenishing my wood stores. On summer 23, I continue planning things out so I can determine how many sprinklers I'll need to craft. While the materials are smelting, I clean up more of the farm and gather more wood, which gets me to level 7 foraging that night. I spend most of the next day in the mines, gathering more material for the sprinklers. On summer 25, I deliver a hot pepper to George and an emerald to Pam before heading back into the mines. I finish gathering all of the materials I need and head back home to find my first bottle of wine is ready. Rather than selling or donating it, I decide to keep it for the Grange display. I put some blueberries in the keg next to make a cheaper wine for the community center. And that night, I hit level 7 mining. The last blueberry harvest is ready the next day, and I finally craft a few lightning rods to protect my crops. I purchase a pomegranate and a sandfish from the traveling merchant. On the way to the mines, I make a trip to the community center. I donate the pufferfish, sandfish, and woodskip to complete the specialty fish bundle. A fiddlehead fern goes in the chef's bundle, and the pomegranate goes in the enchanter's bundle. I'm only a little annoyed to find a pomegranate in the Batcave the next morning. I grab a sea urchin on the beach and go to the mountain lake to make another attempt at catching a sturgeon. It still manages to evade me, so I distract myself from the disappointment by clearing up the train station a bit more. On the last day of summer, I get the last maple syrup I need for the community center. I spend more time in the mines until it's time for the best festival of the year. Once the jellies have moved on, I return to the farm to craft my sprinklers and prepare for the start of fall. And as I tuck into bed to finish off the season, my combat skill reaches level 6. I hope you all enjoyed watching this second part of my Year 1 Community Center Challenge. If you did, feel free to leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when the next video drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in part 3.